Hello, this is Chris Walker with Big Angie Fan Channel here in beautiful Hawaii. Back with another in my series of A to Z reactions based on the compilation that Rusty Shackelford made of 132 songs. I'm in the Eyes right now, which has a lot of great songs. And this is one of the great ones. It's I'm a Fool to Want You. There are several versions of this. The most famous one was at Norway's Got Talent. I'm going to look at two versions, well, kind of two and a half versions. So before I start, as always, remember to support the artist by subscribing to their official channel. In Angelina Jordan's case, she has two channels. Subscribing doesn't cost anything. I have links always to the channels and to the videos that I'm looking at. So also view the videos, comment on them, give them a like. Replies to comments count as comments. To find all these links, you'd expand the description as shown here. To comment, you also have to expand the comment section as shown. When you subscribe, remember that the notification bell, there's these three different options. The default is just to be notified sometimes, and you can change it so that you're notified every time a new video comes out. Okay, so back to the song here, and like I said, it's we're going to look at like two and a half versions, because this first one is the Norway's Got Talent version, but I made some changes. Now probably at least 98% of you guys are going to know right away what the change is, but for the few of you who haven't seen this, I'll be interested in your reaction when I do reveal what the change is. So here we have Angelina Jordan, 8 years old at Norway's Got Talent.
Jeg hadde tenkt å synge I'm a Fool to Want You fra Billie Holiday.
Love the hair and the teeth.
I'm a fool to want you. I'm a fool.
Such an amazingly beautiful tone for an 8-year-old girl.
To want love that can be true, a love that's clear, heart is true. I'm a fool to hold you.
You can hear that, you know, it's the voice of a little girl still, but it does sound very mature for her age.
To sing a kiss, not mine alone. To share a kiss.
Beautiful eyes, very expressive eyes there.
Time and time again.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. By the way, this is on my Patreon. I don't talk about my Patreon a lot, but I'm gradually starting to get more and more things on my Patreon that can only be found there. And of course, you always get to, not always, because sometimes I forget, but usually you get to see things that I post on YouTube. You get to see them in advance on my Patreon. So for those of you who don't know what the change is, like are seeing this for the first time, I think you would agree that that's very impressive for somebody who just turned 8 years old. And but for those of you who do know the change, it's that yes, I added the instrumentation from Billie Holiday's original version of this. So actually she was singing this whole thing a cappella, which makes it quite a bit more amazing. I made this kind of show how it's as if she's hearing the music in her head and singing to the music. So the reactions I'm showing are actually from Gloomy Sunday. I put in the reactions in the audience because the one thing that doesn't work with putting it to the music was that she, for the kind of musical interludes, where there's no singing going on, she only waited a short time before she would start the next phrase. So, I would have to slow her way down in those pauses and it would look obvious. So that's why I put in those reactions. But I think they're fitting. I think that if she had done this with music as her audition instead of Gloomy Sunday, we would have had similar reactions. But yes, I think this is, you wouldn't know that she had done it without music if you listen to this version. So the complete version of this, as I said, is on my Patreon. Okay, so let's go to the actual Norway's Got Talent version. And since we already saw that first part, I'm going to move up a little bit here.
I'm a fool to hold you, such a fool to hold you.
She had just turned 8.
Not mine alone, to share a kiss, but never has known. Time and time again.
Be sure to check out the links for and watch this version of it, because most people actually see the version where this middle bridge part is cut out. So I think it's even more impressive that it goes on longer with this bridge part. So what I have linked to is the one to watch. Look at that face.
I said I'd leave you time and time again. I ran away.
For a lot of Angelina fans, this is actually the most impressive thing she did at Norway's Got Talent, of the 4 songs she did.
Time when I need you.
Here she says, "When I leave you," and I think it's that I need you. So she did have that little mistake with the lyrics there.
Once again, these words I have to say.
And that way of saying it, "and once again," is very much like Billie Holiday, as we'll see when we look at this other version we're going to look at. So let's just play it all the way through to the end now.
I'm a fool to want you. Pity I need you. I know it's wrong. It must be wrong. But right along, I can't get along without you. I can't give it up without you.
Now there actually was no audience for this, so you don't hear any applause or anything in the actual version of this, and that's because this was kind of a elimination round just for the judges to kind of weed out who was going to be going on. And that would be really interesting to know what it was like with an audience. So that one that I have on Patreon is kind of imagining it with an audience, in addition to having the music. So that is very, very impressive. And the question is whether you think that one is her best version or this one is her best version. This one coming up here is, it's a studio session for her It's Magic album, jazz album that came out in 2018 when she was 12. So I think she was recording this when she was 11. So this is something that what Rusty Shackelford did was he took this studio recording session and then he put in the sound from the actual track on the album, and you kind of get the best of both worlds there. I've done this on a couple of my videos too, where you're getting the good quality sound, but you're getting this intimate look at her recording it. Now, she does make some mistakes, a couple of mistakes, and so they did not, in the final version that you hear on the album, they did not use this entire take, but you can tell that they use most of it, because there's only a few times he has to cover up things or, you know, dissolve out of it, but throughout most of this, you know, the sound you're hearing is actually what she was singing. And, well, let's just go ahead and listen to this. So, yes, by the way, the music here is the music for the, for her album, not the Billie Holiday music. But later on I'm going to show her singing with the Billie Holiday instrumentation. So, again, she's hearing that music in her headphones, and if you go to the original rehearsal, you can hear that music kind of faintly in the background. But, this is kind of the music that she was hearing. And you'll see how her voice has progressed, how her abilities have progressed in the 3 years or so since her other one, 3.5 years or so.
I'm a fool to want you. I'm a fool to want you.
See, he did a little dissolve there because she made a mistake in this take. But I just, love this kind of behind the scenes, up close and personal look. There's actually at least, I think, 2 other recordings from this, like the same kind of session, of recording for her It's Magic album. But I think this is the best one. And it really works to have the sound from the album. But if you definitely need to listen to the actual rehearsal version. The sound isn't bad, it's just not as good quality sound.
To one love, and that can be true.
The lips aren't quite matching them.
A love that's there for others too. I'm a fool to hold you.
So she's sounding much more like Billie Holiday in this version.
To hold you. To seek a kiss, not mine alone. To share a kiss that devil has known.
I think this is covering up another mistake she made here.
Time and time again, I went away.
So I just think this is, amazing how she's, it's almost like she's Billie Holiday reincarnated. But that brings up an objection I've heard from time to time. Is like, well, this is too much, just like she's just mimicking Billie Holiday. But that's not really true. She's very much retaining that style of Billie Holiday, but she's actually she's putting her own spin on it, and I want to show you that by, this is just some audio only. This is using Billie Holiday's instruments, and we're going to go back and forth hearing the same phrases with Billie Holiday and Angelina Jordan. Now here is Billie Holiday first, and you'll notice that she kind of separates her phrases.
Time and time again,
Now, following is Angelina Jordan. She doesn't have that pause between time and time again, and I run away. She kind of runs it all together. For me, I think this is actually better what she does. It still sounds very much like Billie Holiday, but it's more sophisticated phrasing. So let's listen to the two, one right after the other.
Time and time again, I went away.
Time and time again, I went away.
Okay, so again, this is Angelina Jordan first, running the words together.
But then would come the time when I would need you.
And now Billie Holiday.
But then would come the time when I would need you.
So Billie Holiday kind of separated that out into three different sections, where with Angelina Jordan it kind of ran together, so her own variation in style. You can definitely hear that Billie Holiday's voice is older. Billie Holiday had a rough life, and you can hear it. This song was kind of late in her career when her voice was not as good as it had been before, but in a way it gives it even more character. But again, the way that Angelina handled the phrasing on that, I liked it better than Billie Holiday's. But this last one, I think that actually Billie Holiday does better. We're first going to hear Angelina Jordan, and here she doesn't always do that running together. Here she does separate them out like Billie Holiday. But I think in this case, Billie Holiday's phrasing is better.
And once again, these words I have to say.
And once again, these words I'll have to say.
Yeah, so I think in that one, Billie Holiday wins that. But just an amazing example of Angelina Jordan being able to use all of those jazz techniques to, bring you back to that era. We're going to continue on with her rehearsal version here, and I think I'm going to play it all the way through.
But then
Again, this is with her music now. Angelina's music.
when I would need you. And once again, these words I have to say. I'm a fool to warn you. They tell me I need you.
And I love how she's actually looking at the lyrics as she does this recording, an album recording. She can get away with doing that.
Must be wrong, but right or wrong, I can't give along without you. I can't give it out without you.
Now we'll get a look at Grandma Mary here.
Det var kjempebra.
I love that we get that little glimpse of Grandma Mary. This this is just a superb track that that Rusty has done here. As always, kind of at a loss for words, but this is, jazz mastery, but also you're getting a wonderful look at Angelina Jordan's personality. I like that kind of hippie style thing, garland that she has on her head there. What's not to like about this? Jazz mastery, wonderful personality, wonderful behind the scenes look. So again, I'm going to have the links for Rusty's version and the original rehearsal version, and of course the Norway's Got Talent version. The one that has Norway's Got Talent that has the music added and the audience added, that's on my Patreon, so you'd have to join my Patreon to see that one. So, this has been Chris Walker with Big Angie Fan Channel here in beautiful Hawaii. Aloha.
Gud av meg, altså.